What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about ZBCN, Zebec. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, you guys. Here we are on the 31st of May. Still getting it wrong, man. Expecting ZBCN to move up more, and it's holding off. I don't think it moves up anymore, you guys. I know, flip-flopping, back and forth, day to day, whatever, get over it. I'll be right, I'll be wrong. It's just the name of the game. You couldn't close above the 200, and yesterday closed red. You have lower highs in the RSI, higher lows or higher highs in the price with a red day to confirm bearish divergence. You are going down. Absolutely you are. The fact that you didn't hit the 2272 should be a good thing for the people who want to buy. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I'm not saying sell. You're probably at a great area to sell nonetheless, right? But let's be fair. From the high to where you are now, it's 17% of a difference. On a massive move like this that did an over 10x, right? I'm pretty sure from a low to a high. Yeah, you did a 10x in about just over a month's time. Being 20% away from the top, I think you're still at a good area to sell. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. If I was holding ZBCN and knowing myself and how wrong I've been as far as where the top would be on this thing, I wouldn't sell. I would only hold to buy more. But I definitely wouldn't be buying at this price, right? I definitely wouldn't be. But if you were to sell, again, not financial advice, it's probably at a good area to sell. Probably. Because probably we will move down at least at a minimum, bare minimum, 30%, 28%. Okay. 28.7% down to 0.0426. Likely, at this point in time, I would expect we do move to the 1414. When you find resistance in this area, which I wasn't expecting we'd do, I thought we'd continue because we were, at the time I made my last video, we were actually above the 200, looking like we were going to strike higher. But we didn't. We closed below it. Whenever you find resistance here, oftentimes you actually do go back to the 1414 to find support. So, fortunately, 0034 is back on the table, my friends. It absolutely is. Bearish divergence engaged. Double bearish divergence on your 4-hour time frame with high here, lower high, lower high. Absurd. And that divergence would take you all the way back down to here, at least, back at that golden ratio and even a little bit below there. So again, 3.4 cents isn't promised. You could find support higher, but at least a 30% drop, 28% drop, I should say. If not, something on the lines of a 41% drop. And here's the real kicker, man. It could be even more extreme than that. Maybe go all the way to your 1272. What I will say is I would be very surprised if you went below 2.9 cents. I'd be very, very surprised. That I would even be surprised if we went down that low, but it can happen. It can very well happen. I shouldn't say that I'd be surprised if we went that low. Maybe. Because, you see, that's our all-time high was right here at the 1414. It's very common to go from this area to the 1414, like specifically. there's I can't name them all. I don't know I don't know every single fib setup that there is. But when they happen, I like to address them. So if you can stick this in your back pipe and smoke it later, I keep trying to say back pocket, but then the word pipe comes out. So then I say smoke. I don't know. It's a term. It's like I'm like that guy from Boondock Saints that says, "Why don't you make like a tree and get the out of here?" Like I make up my own sayings, and I don't even know what the purpose of that is at some point. But what I'm trying to say, guys, is if you can take something away from my fib analysis. This reaction here, rejecting this zone, the 200 to the 1886, yes, you wicked above it and all that. This is still a rejection of this zone. Typically, you do go back to the 1414. And when you find support at the 1414, it's pretty precise. It's very, very precise. It's not like a wick through kind of thing. So when you find resistance on it, you do wick through. But when you come back to find support, you tend to find direct, precise support on it. Tie that up with the fact that that's also where your all-time high is. It makes a lot of sense so we wouldn't go to 0034. But at the lowest, 0029 is something to consider. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but if my time in the bull markets has taught me anything, this is my third bull market, it's oftentimes, whenever we're in the dump times, whenever everything's down, everything's moving down, and believe me, guys, everything, except for Moonwell. Yesterday, I'm pretty sure Moonwell was the only one that moved up, but everything's moving down, right? Everything's moving down. In the time when everything's moving down, the thing that moves down the most is the thing that pumped up the most. And this absolutely did pump up the most, man. 10.2x. I would expect you to see a very, very phenomenal, spectacular crash, you guys. All the way down to 0034. What is that right there? That'd be a 52% drop. It wouldn't surprise me in the least, actually, if we went below there. It really wouldn't surprise me because sometimes, and oftentimes enough, you do get 60, 70% drops in a bull market, in a bullish phase, in an uptrend. You can see it happen. It happens. It actually happens more often than you think, or maybe it happens just as often as you think in the crypto markets. And dropping 70%, it's a bit extreme. I'll even grant it's like on the higher end of extreme. I don't actually expect us to go here, but maybe you do go all the way back down here. You don't know what you're dealing with, right? You didn't know what you're dealing with to the upside. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. I don't know. I didn't. We don't know what we're dealing with to the downside. You've been consolidating for a year. Might you pull back to your breakout point right here? Might you do that? It's very common. Might you pull back to your all-time high? It's very common, but something in between would be less so common. Most likely you'd either stop here or you'd stop here, right? But there is that chance, again, with this high to low here, there is that chance to find support at the 1272. But again, I don't even think you go here. I don't even think you go below that low. I really do think that from a high to a low, you're going to get off easy with a 52% drop overall, 53% drop overall down at 0034. And I mean that. You're getting off easy with that because that's actually a very modest drop given the circumstances that you have here. But again, on the bright side for all the Zebecians out there, you Zebecans, Zebekening will begin to the downside, and you will be able to beckon that price to prices that are a little bit more desirable, at least, to buy in, right? What I love about ZBCN, we look at it here, it did a 10x move, and it's only at a $475 million market cap. That's still low. You're going to drop 50%. You're going to be at like a $200 million market cap. 200 and, what would that be? 70, 200, so that'd be 285. 287.5 $1 million market cap. It's still kind of high. It's not like the lowest market cap out there, but that's low enough to where you could see 100x, a multi-100x, a 300x by the end of the cycle. Any and all of those possibilities are there. So buying here, you can still see a 100x, but you're probably not going to see a 200x, right? Buying 50% lower, it ups those odds. So I very much do believe that we're going to drop from here. Daily divergence, bearish divergence shows it. 4-hour divergence shows it. I'm sure if we're looking at this with something that has volume, let's look at Bybit, no, BitGet maybe. BitGet, yeah, the volume's dying off as we're progressing higher. You didn't make your move. Beautiful move overall. I got to hand it to you, but I think now it's official. Things are coming to an end. Bitcoin's breaking down. The rest of crypto's breaking down. Nothing moves up in a straight line forever. I could be wrong. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I could be wrong, but and I'm not gonna give out any names here. But I did have a friend, a acquaintance, recent acquaintance, who asked me if they should sell one of their coins for ZBCN, and I told them that's a bad idea. But let me tell you why I think it's a bad idea. The reason why I think it's a bad idea, and I'm talking to you, my friend, if you're watching this video. I'm talking to you, whoever's out there who's not the person I'm talking about is watching this video. It's a bad idea to sell any coin for ZBCN specifically because ZBCN is it just did a 10x. You're at the high of that 10x. We're in crypto. You're going to get a crazy drop, guys. It's going to happen. You feel on top of the world. You feel invincible. And don't get me wrong. Sometimes these things just keep running. I would love it. I would love it. And I'd have all the egg on my face, man, if it just kept running in the midst of all this dropping that's happening. But it's just very uncommon. It's very, very uncommon. I'm not saying it can't happen. Anything can happen, and that's why you don't sell. Definitely, I'm not advocating that you sell, but the likelihood that we go down to the areas that I've talked about, it's pretty great. It's very, very likely, at least at this point. And by the way of the charts, by everything that I know, it's very suggestive of that. Does that mean that it has to go down there? No, but I would not be surprised in the least if 0034 was where we found support. Okay, inevitably ZBCN, you are going to move up higher. I could measure and give you where I think your next target's going to be. I mean, to be completely fair, from a high to a low here, maybe we can actually even discuss that a little bit because you have showed such respect at that 1886 area there. I would think that your next area is going to be the 2886 to 3113 area, which would imply that the end of this move, maybe not I shouldn't say the end of this move, but your next stopping point might be at 1.7 to 2.2 cents. That might be sometime in June, and then in July you go higher. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised. Sometimes you stop at the 1886, you'll stop at the 2886, and watch this. I bet we even stopped at the 886. Look at that. Well, okay, we didn't technically stop at the 886. We stopped at the 100 and found support at the 0.7, but tomato, tomato, whatever. We found some turbulence around here, some turbulence around here, even actually just above the 886 here, just above the 1886 here. Maybe we find some turbulence just above the 2886 here, in which case we go to the 3113, right? It's very, very common behavior to see stuff like that. Wouldn't surprise me if that was our next stopping point, and it also wouldn't surprise me if by the end of, let's say July, middle July, if we were up higher at 4 to 5 cents in price. Maybe not quite at 5 cents, but something above 4 cents. I wouldn't be surprised. But lower first, lower first. And what I'm happy about too is with the move down that I'm talking about here, beyond the fact that you get the opportunity to buy in at a cheaper price, we'll also have a fib from a high to a low to measure from, and then we'll be able to relate that fib to this fib here, and that should give us some more accurate correspondence as to where we're looking going further, right? The hardest part about ZBCN, telling how high this breakout move was going to be, because we knew it was coming. We knew it all the way back here. We knew there was going to be a breakout move. I just had no idea. Nobody knew how high it was going to be. Maybe some people did. Shout out to Crypto Future. You know, some people might have known, but not everybody knew, right? And the reason why it's hard to tell is because there's just there's no history. But with this, we're going to have some history to measure from, alongside with some other history to measure from, and then those can line up together and give us more points of congruence to rely on. Hopefully, we'll see. I hope it all makes sense, guys. We're at 006 right now. We're going to go down to 00. What was it? 0034. If not, what was the other price? 0043. Yeah, 0043 at a minimum, which is about a 28% drop from here. I think we'll go to 0034 though. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Good job, ZBCN. Good. You got nothing to be ashamed of. Dropping shouldn't be scary. It's just an opportunity to load up more, man. It's nice whenever it moves up like this. It's a hell of a time. I hope people made life-changing money. I hope some people took profits. And for the people that didn't take profits, I really hope you don't panic sell the lows. Just buy more. If you don't got the balls to take profits, that's okay. Buy more at the lows, right? You did it before, apparently. Do it again. Do it again. And then when it returns to these prices, as ecstatic as you were, you're only going to have more money because you bought more at the lows. And the price will return here and higher in time. So take every step of the way down with a spoonful of gratitude for the opportunity of being able to buy at lower prices, okay? It's not a bad thing. It really is an opportunity. ZBCN is not worth 0.006. Think of it as being worth 10 cents, $1. Who knows how high it goes? You know what I mean? Like, think of it, it's worth more. You have the foresight to know that, and you're going to be able to buy it at a cheaper price. Seize the opportunity when it comes your way. If you can't buy the dip because you're fully allocated, that's okay. Just hold through it. Right? Good practices to hold through the pain. And then, you know, whenever we start moving up higher, whenever we do get into the end of June, early July, mid-July, that time we'll probably see a relative moment to top off and maybe take some profits around the board in the markets, not just for ZBCN, but we'll see. That's still a far ways away, so we'll see how that goes. Hit the like button, you guys. Subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Good job. Good luck. And, yeah, just try to be calm. Try to be calm. Moments like this in the market can have... I wonder, in fact, I'm actually kind of curious. I'm wondering how much panic we've got here. Let's see, refresh that. It says 61, but is that true? 55. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. I feel like this is more versatile, but it doesn't always accurately represent the fear and the greed. I'm sure there's a lot more fear than just... I bet we're in fear right now, not just neutral. I wouldn't be surprised at all, especially with how the price has gone. But anyways, guys, I'm rambling at this point. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.